SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time. SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time.
Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. My name is Mike Godwin Iwedra, and I'm here with Olayinka Raji on our Wednesday Global Africa Update. Raji, good morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, viewers of the globe. Welcome to our Wednesday program.
Welcome, Raji. Hope adjusting back to the Lagos life is not taking you back.
Well, like my friends will say, I'm a lizard in Lagos. I can't.
In Lagos.
I'm lizard along Beko.
Nice.
And I'm used to Lagos. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good. Raji, let's before we go into the African update. Till now, since yesterday, throughout the weekend, it's been barrage of rockets from both ends. Israel blasting Hezbollah, and now Iran has joined. As of this morning, Hezbollah also unleashed about 100 rockets into Israel. As the IDF, the Israel IDF, is calling for extra troops, and we are looking at what is happening in Lebanon. Lebanon villages are being told to evacuate because the barrage of missiles are coming all over. Raji, this is not funny at all. Is there need for concern about World War III? Mm-hmm.
Well, all this, I see what is happening now as a distraction brought in by Israel, so that we shift world focus from Gaza. There's serious extermination still ongoing in Gaza. Al Jazeera has been banned from Gaza, so we are not getting any news at all from Gaza. So what is happening are just distraction. More than 2 million people are
how is it distraction if both ends are blowing up themselves? I mean, if you say distraction, it will be one person doing it and covering. But now you have Iran. Iran has joined with what they did last night.
It is a distraction from the extermination going on in Gaza. My focus is on Gaza. What that is happening outside Gaza is a distraction, regardless of who and who are involved. What is going on in Gaza needs to be focused on. 2 million people are dying, starved, exterminated. There's serious genocide going on in Gaza. Let us refocus on Gaza. Let us refocus on Gaza. More than 70% of habitable habitations in Gaza has been razed to the ground, including hospitals and schools and whatever. There's a genocide ongoing in Gaza, and all the peripheral conflicts are just distractions from the genocide.
But this can be called peripheral conflict, Raji. Raji, did you see what happened yesterday? Did you see the amount of rocket that was sent in?
Let us focus on the issue. The issue that I'm talking about is Gaza. Whatever is happening outside of Gaza is, to me, peripheral to the situation in Gaza. There's a genocide still ongoing in Gaza. And that is what all these peripheral things are distracting us from. Let us be human. There's inhumanity, inhumane treatment being meted out to over 2 million people in Gaza.
but like we've also said, Raji, whenever there is a situation, you look at the beginning. Now, what is happening now? The honest truth is, what is happening now is the expansion of a crack on the wall. When there's a small crack, now it begins to expand if you don't amend things fast. Now the crack, the small crack started with what happened. We all know what happened October 7th. And now you talk of Gaza, but take note that Israel is saying that some of these points, some of the Gaza, some of the locations we are mentioning are where this Hezbollah group use as hideouts. So what they do is they put people in those residents, people in those locations on harm's way. So it is not about just going to kill people in Gaza. It is that some people are there in Gaza that are also infiltrating trouble, causing harm, and they come to God.
You are speaking entirely out of the perspective of Israel. You talk about the beginning. You just you didn't even go to the beginning.
No, I just gave the beginning as a phrase.
It is not a beginning. It goes far back, more than 70
we're talking
years.
of this recent time, Raji. Recent time, we are seeing this escalation from what happened from the beginning, October 7th. So recent time,
you are taking from a convenient point, the convenient point to your narrative. Convenient point to your narrative. It just didn't start on October 7th. There are so many other things that have happened prior to October 7th, and that has been on for more than 70 years. So if you are going to talk anything, let's focus on the current. And I'm telling you that all that is happening now about Lebanon, about Hezbollah, about the Houthis, and about Iran is peripheral to the real issue that is happening in Gaza.
Okay, but before we continue,
ongoing in Gaza.
Okay, Raji, before we continue, our man from Toronto, Canada is here. Sir George Chuku, you're welcome, sir.
Good morning, Mike Godwin, and good morning, Allah Karaji. Good morning, viewers from around the world. Welcome to our Wednesday newscast.
Yes, Wednesday newscast. George, today is meant for Wednesday. Is meant for African update. So we do more, but there's a very hot situation on board. You can't hide from what is going on. There's like an ongoing World War III fear that is being spread around the world, and that is coming from Israel, Hezbollah, Lebanon, and all of those stories. As at this morning, Hezbollah unleashed about 100 rockets into Israel, and last night Iran also did the same. Even though all of these rockets, when they come, we know of the drone that scuds them and diffuses them and dissolves it all from harming people. George, what's your take? Because Raji was saying something here now.
Well, you're looking at a situation. I have said this before. Number one, you have a tiny little country that is on its own, and you have more than 5 terrorist groups, most of them sponsored by Iran, after Israel. So what I don't understand is the world is looking, and then this little tiny country is being attacked from left, right, and center. And then all we are interested in is, what just happened. I forgot the date of that event that took place. Was it October 7th or something like that? When more than 1,000 were killed, maimed, destroyed. And then all of a sudden we're looking at a tiny little country. Iran is sponsoring Hezbollah. Iran is sponsoring the Houthis. Iran is sponsoring the Hamas. All of these things are being sponsored by one nation that has sworn that this country must be annihilated. And you're looking from all over the place, and the world is just still, pontificating over little matters like Gaza Strip. No, the point is, look at around you in Israel. That's the smallest country in that zone is being fought against by people, different groups who are swearing that they will be annihilated. I don't know what you guys are expecting, but one thing, like I said before, Israel, as small as it is a burning bush. The fire is there, but it will not burn up. And then you're going to see a retaliation, because right now the leader, the supreme leader of Iran is on the hiding. Why is he hiding? That's a coward. That's a coward there, if you ask me. Why are you hiding? You come, you talk about all these great things. We're going to retaliate. We're going to do this. We're going to do that, and then you go into hiding. Come out now. Aren't you a strong man? Let's deal man to man and see who is gonna win. The point about it is this: let's be careful, because sometimes we're condemning Israel on being on the defense all the time. And then all these groups are rising up, being sponsored by this nation. So what you're asking yourself is, if that is the case, if you were to be in their shoes, how would you be dealing with this situation? And what would you do when you find a terrorist group that is coming after you? Would you want to just appease them and allow them to continue to grow, or would you want to annihilate them? So what you're saying in Lebanon right now, they want to do, they call it a very small incursion to make sure that the northern part of Israel is secure, so that their citizens can come back home. And that's why they want to go in on a limited basis, they said. So these people are being attacked all over the place.
Yes. All right, George. Thank you. Viewers, what you're seeing there is a quick design map of Israel, Lebanon, the Gaza Strip that Raji is also talking about, Jordan, Iran, Iraq. Now, yes, George, Raji was saying something also very crucial. Raji, do you agree with George's point of view? Let's hear you again from what you were saying earlier.
I don't have to agree with anybody's point of view. George's narrative is just like the Israeli narrative. Now, I insist that all that is happening now is peripheral to the genocide that is ongoing in Gaza, and that the world should refocus on Gaza and save 2 million people who are being exterminated in Gaza.
Okay, hold on a second. I just want to understand. Yeah, you're focusing on Gaza, but these people are dealing with multiple terrorist groups, 5 different terrorist groups, all after one little nation. And then we want to concentrate. Now, Gaza, Hamas was the one who started all this mess right now. And then all of a sudden, here you go, Lebanon. You have the Hezbollah, you have all of these groups, and now the main country itself is coming out. I am so happy that Iran started raining all these missiles against Israel, because right now, even if they don't retaliate, none of their leaders are safe. You can go to bank with it, because when they want to annihilate, they will dig a hole. Coincidentally, the people that actually initially, had sworn to destroy Israel is in the same zone where Iraq is. And that was, where it all, thousands of, hundreds of years ago when it all started. So the point is, this man called Haman that wanted to destroy Israel, the gallows that he built, him and his family was hung in that particular gallows. And we are going to see what is will take place very soon.
Yes. So what we're doing also in SSM studio is evaluating different military kits. The tanks, the UAVs, the missiles, artillery, and because we're trying to be very, very objective. Now, when we did that, Raji, when we checked that, what you're seeing there on the screen, viewers, what you're seeing there is not it's not just graphics we just put together. It's from real investigation, digging up information. So we found out, George, that there is no way any terrorist group, Hezbollah, Hamas, whoever it may be, there's no way they can match up with what Israel has. George, this is what we found out from our studies. The tanks, the air defense, the Scud missiles, the artilleries, we checked both ends. Yes, Hezbollah is getting some supply from even Russia, from some places, but we don't see how it could match up with what Israel has, because we're looking at capacity, we're looking at the potency, the strength, the efficiency of those things they have. So Raji, it's going to be like a dream if these guys come out. Now, this morning they did some other strikes again, and all of their missiles fall on empty ground. You know, it doesn't, even though it's targeted at the citizen, but it doesn't get to the target. So, and when Israel would come back, it will be massive. So this is
it will be deadly. Now that Iran finally, you know, one thing we have forgotten is that it's been so long coming when Israel was actually expecting Iran to openly come out against them directly, so they can deal with them with the blows, unforgettable blows, and they can deal with them and make a mark that can never be erased. That is one major thing, and it is going to happen, because the one thing that they can take home is, as long as Benjamin Netanyahu is the leader in Israel, when he inflicts pain, he does it like a general, which he has been. You know, his brother was a military might too. So what you're seeing here is, leave these people alone. If you are intelligent enough, they've done nothing to you guys. Let them just exist and do their own thing. But when you want to get yourself involved in something that doesn't affect you, when it comes after you, look at Hezbollah now, look at Lebanon now. Everybody's running away. Everybody, when they dealt with them, it was like they were having a dream. And Iran will get it at the right time. You can go to the bank with it. And when they deal with Iran, they're going to deal with them so strategically that most of anything that makes them to want to come out and flex their military might and muscles will be destroyed. Go, you watch and see what's going to happen. Leave these people alone. As long as you keep on coming after them, they're going to be inflicting pain on them.
Go ahead, Raji. Have you forgotten all the assassinations that Israel has carried out in Iran? Have you forgotten how?
Legitimately and boastfully, because everyone that they are
unprovoked attacks on Iran.
Oh, really?
Because
do you remember what just happened a few months ago or a few weeks ago when they put a strike that killed 12 innocent young boys that were playing soccer on a field? Do you forget that? So when they killed this their general they annihilated this man in Lebanon. This is nothing but payment for what he has done. You swear to be my life enemy and you want to annihilate me. Every time I have an opportunity, I'm going to come after you and nip in the bud the root causes of all the problems that I have. And that's what you're seeing. And I can say publicly around the world, be careful when you're dealing with Israel, because you can try, but you will never succeed. They'll come after you and they are going to undig your foundation and turn it upside down. Watch. History should teach us a lesson where we don't want to learn. Leave them alone. That's all I can say. Publicly around the world.
Anyway, yeah, George is saying, Raji, also it's good we remain on the facts too. So let's come with those ones and let's put it out. All right, gentlemen. It's Friday. It's Wednesday. It's African Day. So let's come back to some of our own news around Africa. All right, gentlemen, viewers, there's news coming from Nigeria that Emirates, that airline from United Emirates has resumed flights to Lagos after 2 years suspension. Raji, who is at advantage? Who loses? Who gains at this kind of thing? Emirates is back after 2 years suspension. He says they resume flight to Nigeria with their flight EK783 that landed yesterday, marking his first return after a 2-year suspension. So my question to you, Raji, you're there in Lagos. who's at advantage? I mean, who's gaining from this? I thought we weren't gaining. Go ahead.
I don't understand why Nigeria puts itself as an inferior position. The traffic out of Nigeria to all places in the world is humongous. Nigeria is the most profitable route in Africa. So it doesn't matter. It's like Uyigbo market. It doesn't matter who. No one knows whether you came or not. The market goes on, and there's nothing for me to jump for joy that Emirates is coming back. What are they doing to me? What are they doing differently from other airlines that will make me want to jubilate that they have come back? Their prices are not the best. Their fares are not the best, and there are sufficient airlines coming into Lagos and Abuja and servicing Nigerian passengers. So what's the big deal?
So what's the big deal? George, like Raji just started with his statement, in most cases, we don't know who we are. The black man has not realized who he is. Nigerians have not realized who they are with our number, with our power. So people toss us around. Imagine airline come to tell us they suspend their movement. Meanwhile, it is we that gives them. George, tell me, am I correct?
And I agree with Olayinka Raji on this one. I mean, number one is we feel inferior. We feel inferior to some of these nations. Number one is we feel like Emirates. Can you consider, Emirates Airline? Can you just consider what they have done for us, the way they mocked our own president, and yet shamelessly they're just still pursuing after them? Why can't we just have our, political diplomatic balls, stand our ground, and know exactly what Olayinka Raji is talking about, that our nation is the most profitable nation when it comes to flights and all that kind of stuff, because we have this thing in us that we travel more than any other part of the world. So now the problem is, now they're doing all of this, but as a matter of fact, you have to balance the equation, because you have to go back and find out what was the reason why they stopped their flight to Nigeria to begin with. They were claiming that we owed them so much money and that our money was losing value. By the time they received the money back to themselves, the value was no longer there. So there were some reasons why they left in the first place. But having mocked us the way they mocked us, and knowing how profitable our living Nigeria, coming into Nigeria is, we should, stand our ground. Because, I mean, yes, we have Ethiopian Airlines. We have APs. If they don't come back, people, all the while they were away, people were still coming and going. And who is the question is, who is gaining? Were we losing? We were not losing in anywhere in their absence. So what is the big deal when they come back? Because they feel and claim superiority over us, even the way they have dealt with our president, when they were just doing a yo-yo type of situation with him. Come today, come tomorrow. No, I don't think so. There is nothing to jubilate over this, and it is our own, what you call a fanatic type of consumption, that is causing all of these things. Anything you can get from Emirates, you can get it from Ethiopian Airlines. Anything you can get from Emirates, you can get it from APs. And APs actually is more superior than most of the flights from Emirates. So I don't see. I'm sorry, but it's nothing to laugh home all about.
No, you don't need to be sorry. It's a fact. It's the day we realize ourselves that we will stop some of these bouncing around we allow people do to us. Raji, now that they have come back, we had that visa. There will be some visa withdrawal. I mean, it won't be as it is to be. It could also be visa at the point of entry, reduce requirements to get your visa and all that. Is that true? Will there be that flow?
See, Nigerians should be courted by all these airlines, all these like Dubai being a center of commerce. They should come and court us. They should come and toast us. Please come to our country. Not that they will be telling, okay, be telling us that they can restrict our entry into their country. No. Like George has said, like I've said before, there's nothing for us to be relating about. Nothing. Whatever concessions they want to give, let them give. Let us remain in our position of confidence, of superiority, of knowing our own worth, instead of throwing our gold into pigs.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Moving forward, let's wrap it up. Yesterday, George, was our 64th Independence Day. It's still good to look back at that whole thing. We were last time on Monday, we were talking about a 64-year-old man that has not gotten his speech. I mean, that's how you compare it. So, guys, tell me. Let me start with George. George, do you think there's hope for this 64-year-old man? Is there going to be some form of progress even at old age? You know, some people could also get it right at old age.
But there's a saying that a fool at 40 is a fool forever. So I don't know where the fundamental question we have to ask each other is, how did we get here?
Okay.
What was the factors that contributed to us coming to this point where we are today? How do we deal with it? Because politically and diplomatically, we are lagging behind. A 64-year-old man that is still lapping, water from the stream. You see, and that's the major problem there, because the people are crying outside bad governance, bad governance, and then the administration itself, all they do is talk. This particular administration is an administration of excuses and an administration of talk. Yeah, the president made a speech. It was a fantastic speech, but what does it amount to? What does it amount to? The bottom line to all of these things is, what does it amount to? How is the common man feeling the effects of every single thing? You're talking about $30 billion business MOUs. How is it affecting the lives of the people in the country? People are crying out because right after you came into power, on the same day that you were being inaugurated, you just came out there without any studies or looking into the situation, and then said, subsidy is gone. And then you begin to do some financial reshuffling that is causing even extra pain on the people. You turn around and you're increasing the tariff. You turn around and are doing all these things, and you're saying, oh, people should become, they should, bear the pain. But you turn around in the same vein, you're not an example of what you want to implement. You begin to spend billions of dollars, wasteful spending on unnecessary things. I know we're going to talk about Amina Mohammed, what she was talking about. The deaths now, 1.7 million or 1.57 billion was just approved for Nigeria. Another debt. So all our lives, all we're going to do is managing the debts. No infrastructural development in our country. When these loans come, we abuse the loans. We don't know where the money is going, and yet we're owing the money. And it is going in the wrong things. This is what you're talking about. This is why people are crying out.
Thank you, George. Raji, let's hear you. 64-year-old man. Can he make it?
Incidentally, yesterday was also my birthday. And a friend of mine called me early in the morning, and he actually made my day, because he prayed for me. He said all those things he has to say to wish a dear friend a happy birthday, and then added, happy Independence Day for all that it is worth. And that statement was very, very heavy to me, for all that it is worth. That for 64 years of independence, and all my friend can say in absolute forlorn speech was that for all that it is worth. Anyway, happy Independence Day. That shows that any hope that he had, any faith that he had in this country has been so bastardized that, but for his faith in God, he probably would have thrown up his hands. Okay, what can I do? A bedwetting 64-year-old man, still bedwetting, still wearing nappies, not knowing. No, it's not funny.
It is funny.
I've been out of Nigeria for about a month before for the whole of September, and I had peace. In that I did not have to think about Nigeria and the situation we face in Nigeria. You know, it is very, very sad. It is very sad. And then Sir George mentioned about the fantastic speech by the president. A speech full of lies, full of. Where is the 30 billion investment that has come to? Of all the investment that has come to this country, it's not up to $300 million. Where's the 30 billion that he mentioned? What did you say about clearing about the 30 trillion ways and means? Has it not added to our debt? Has it not added to that same ways and means? Has it not added much more to our debt than he has supposedly paid out? So I was happy that I didn't have to listen to the speech, because I would have spoiled my day. It was my birthday, and I had a lunch event with friends of mine who have been together since our youth service days in 1980-81, and we have a very nice time, not talking about Nigeria, not even acknowledging.
Also, listening and following up, even if it annoys, it hurts us, it's also vital. So we can see where the lines are, you know. We can also.
So I'm happy that so I'm happy that Sir George listened to it. I chose not to listen to it for my own good. I knew that I'll be one of.
All right, Raji. Thank you, viewers. That's it. You're here on our Wednesday Global Africa updates, and we are talking different things: Nigeria independence, the strike from Iran to Israel, and all the escalations. And we're talking also Emirates resuming its flight back to Lagos after 2 years suspension. So let's go on a break, gentlemen. We'll be back. Let's go on a break. We'll be back.
SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerian soul are proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
This country has some of the most extraordinary culinary diversity in the world. I'm talking about Nigeria. This first dish is amala abula, made popular by the Yoruba people in southwest Nigeria. It starts with amala made from dried yam and then is covered in a variety of soups. Next we have ofe nsala, a white soup that is synonymous with the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. It goes best with fufu, or akbo as the Igbos call it. Next we have suya, the most well-known food of the Hausa and Fulani people of northern Nigeria. Meat is covered in a peanut-based powder called yaji and cooked over an open fire. This is banga and starch, a classic of the Urhobo people of Delta State. Lastly, we have onunu, a plantain-based swallow of the Izon people in South Nigeria. We are eating it with fisherman's soup, popular throughout this whole region. And of course, we don't forget the jollof rice. This is popular everywhere in Nigeria. I think what makes Nigeria so great is the diversity of all the different people coming together. These beautiful ethnic groups living side by side, sharing culture and cuisine is what makes Nigeria such an amazing country to visit. Nigerians should be so proud of that cultural heritage, as there is so much more that unites than divides them.
Yes, viewers, we're back. We're back on Wednesday, 2nd of October, 2024. And we're doing our Wednesday African updates. Gentlemen, hope you guys are there. Now we've looked into the Nigerian situation, too many things. Now, one other thing coming out from Nigeria is a story that got me real perplexed during the weekend. The Nigerian Air Force it was said that they killed 23 civilians in Kaduna in an airstrike. Now the Air Force came out and said it's not true. It's the allegation is false. But we've had these situations too many. George, you agree with me? Some time ago, me and you, when we were talking about this happening in Kanu, and now it's happening again. George, tell us, what do you have on that story?
The saddest part of this whole entire saga in Nigeria is the ability of the different departments to come out and openly lie to the people. When there are facts on ground and people are reporting certain things, a particular individual representing one of these departments will come and blatantly lie against what people are, the people on ground are saying. So now they're saying that they did not kill innocent civilians, that they only killed about 27 insurgent group people. Now the problem is the people that are in the same place are telling you that they buried the mutilated bodies of about 23 people. These are Muslims. They did not preserve the body because they buried them overnight. And then you come out and you say it never happened because we always do our surveillance before the time. Now, we have seen this happen during a wedding somewhere in the north, where they annihilated and destroyed so many lives. They started denying it at the beginning, but later on admitted it. And the same thing is happening again. What I'm saying is, if we are having all these weapons being given to us, can we train our military people to be careful? Last time it was drones. Now it is this. And another situation that we are having is where people can accommodate some of these terrorist groups. They will stay among them, buy among them, market among them, and then all of a sudden, when the airstrikes are coming, you don't know who is who. Because the individual was saying that when they came out, they saw a bunch of these insurgents, they were running away and they shot at them. So that it was not in the open area, that it was in the bushes. So there is no mosque in the bush. So, but I don't think that people will come out, the villagers will come out and start lying against when they know that their own people were massacred in this situation. So I don't know who to believe anymore. And this is one of the problems we have in Nigeria today.
Raji, who do we believe? Yeah. They said, what they said is, in their own words, they said they discovered that these people that they identified were victims of, they were farmers, they were children of that community. This is what the people on ground were saying. But the Army, NAF said, no, that what they did was take out an operational targeted terrorists, in their words. Tell us, Raji, what's your take?
This is not the first time that there have been maybe, will I say, mistake in identity or something. We read about a case where in an IDP camp during a wedding, the Air Force dropped a few bombs and a lot of people were killed. It's not the first time, it's not the second time. Now, when you are in a plane, when you are in the Air Force, a jet, flying over territory, you are going at a very high speed to protect yourself from ground shots, so that it may be quite difficult to identify each individual. And therefore, if certain things happen, we should be careful the way we come out to deny the things that happen, rather than accepting that, look, a mistake was made. We are sorry for the mistake. It's not so difficult to accept mistakes and to accept it. But if the mistakes are coming up ever so often, then there's a matter of concern. Our military probably, the effort probably need more training, better training than they currently have. Yes.
Yes, more training. I agree with you, Raja, on this one, George. The drone and these new armories and weapons we have now, they are too fragile. So it's not just somebody come and handle them. Anything can happen, So more training is the word. George, what do you think? Because
we need a little more training, and we need to send some of these people, even if they have to go outside to learn, and to understand. But another issue is that what we're seeing here is actually lack of coordinations, because eventually, if indeed they were actually to bring a surveillance around that place to ensure where these people were, and then in the last moments of them trying to institute this thing, and then there were mistakes that were made, that means there must have been some kind of lack of coordination between the people on the ground and the people that were coming to bomb the place. Because if you say that we always put our people on the ground to, do surveillance on the place to make sure that the public is safe from, the attacks, it's very highly probable that that was done, but yet information was not given at the right moment or released at the right moment to stop them from, sending those ammunitions against the people that actually eventually killed a lot of civilians. Because evidently, I believe that there were civilians that were killed. Villagers are not going to come out lying that, it was just that, that they killed 23 people. I don't think so. I think there is no smoke without fire in this situation. We know already that this is the apparent. The modus operandi of this government is to deny. So don't admit it. Let's go to court if need be.
It's not a laughing matter.
Anyway, yes, it's not. It's
a very serious matter.
But you see, because we also don't, those places are also very volatile places. This is where also those terrorist groups are coming out from. So you don't know if truly the target was on the terrorist group, and now the villagers are turning around to say they are innocent villagers. And we also know that, like George said, Nigerian can be up to some things too. The NFA. I know that this NAF. Yes, I know that these machines, new gadgets they are acquiring needs a lot of training. It needs more than those small training they go for, because these are computerized, highly technical devices. So a little thing you blow off everywhere, and you to cover up, you say, okay, intentionally did it, but it was a mistake. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. So viewers, that's it. What happened at Kaduna? The villagers said there were farmers and children who were at the community mosques at that time, but the NAF denies killing those 23 civilians in that Kaduna airstrikes. They say it was a targeted terrorist operation. So at the end of the day, we'll know who's saying the truth soon.
Will you really know who is telling the truth? Because the bodies are already buried. The bodies are already buried in 24 hours. So how would you know? Because if there was misinformation somehow that did not actually, come out, and this, villagers are saying we lost 23 people and they have already buried, how would you know the truth? Because when their truth is coming out, these people are going to be saying that they're lying, just like what they're saying right now. You still will be confused because you don't know who to believe. It is hearsay, she said. That's the problem we have.
The only truth
you really trust in investigation to go and find out the real truth and let it be publicized? Can you?
The only truth is that 23 people have been killed. That's the only truth. And they have been buried. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. That's the only truth. So viewer, you decide who is telling us what it is or who is not. All right, gentlemen, let's come to the major story for today. George brought a little of it. We are now talking of the money that we keep getting funds, we keep acquiring loans, and we don't even see the future. We just do this for the moment. Somebody speaking. United Nations Deputy Secretary General is our own Amina Mohammed. She has raised concern over the high debt burden that's facing on African countries, highlighting, one thing she said I like is highlighting that this government choose between servicing debt, George, the servicing the debt and paying attention into debt, collecting, servicing debt and all that, instead of investing in critical sectors such as health and education. Gentlemen, let's talk. Amina has raised up the dust.
I think that what she was saying is...
Go ahead, George.
What she was saying is factual. And this is something, statistically, she must have studied some data to find out exactly what is happening to African nations. You see, what it is we have this attitude of when they dangle the money on ourselves, we decide, okay, we're going to take it now because I'm only here for 4 years, I'm only here for 8 years. When I leave, other government will come in and they will deal with the situation. And this is how the debts, the debt ratio management in Africa is so bad. And they're also giving us higher interest rates, making the debt not serviceable. Because if you read what she was saying, most of the debts that were given to some of these nations after World War II was on 2% and 3%. And even up until now, it is still the same thing. But when it comes to our African nations, it's talking about 16%. And they make these debt ratios, high interest so high that it becomes unmanageable. And they are sucking us dry from this interest. Can you imagine giving you billions upon billions and then 16% of that, is going to be coming out of your GDP? That's what you're going to be paying. So now all of a sudden we are left in a state of quandary. You don't know what to do anymore. We don't have that infrastructural type of place where we maintain what we have built. But even to build new ones become a problem because you're servicing debt. And they're putting a squeeze on the government. And the government doesn't want to look so bad. And they're going to be paying these debts. And yet, when they dangle this money up around your nostrils, you just go and grab it and, suck it all in. After 4 years or 8 years, you leave and let another government deal with it. We need to really get connected in all of these things. Go back from Obasanjo era up until this moment and see how we have managed our, economic affairs and financial affairs and international monetary affairs. Let's see what has happened. The money that Jonathan left in the coffers, where did it go, Buhari? Because the debt that we amassed during 8 years of Buhari government is astronomical. Is beyond comprehension, and yet we're adding more. When the World Bank, dangles, $1.757 billion, we grab it, adding to our debt ratio. It's just unacceptable. We need a Nigerian president. That's all I can say. An intelligent Nigerian president that understands all of these things and know how to go to the foundational aspect of things and uproot it and begin all over again. Because the way we are going, we are running like a blind horse, motion with no progress. That's all we are having in Nigeria. And it is very sad, and it's because of bad leadership, unfortunately.
Thank you, George. Had one. Came straight up. Reggie, she called for long-term concessional funding and debt restructuring. These are her words. And a rethink of global financing. Yes, go ahead.
First and foremost, the World Bank does not dangle loans before any country. Countries go for the loans. Now, one of the things that MQ Abiola said about our debts, that as an accountant, the first thing he would do would be a forensic audit of all the debts, of all the loans that have been collected over the years, and then see how those loans were applied and how those loans have now become so humongous over time. I remember the first time Nigeria took a loan was during Obasanjo's first coming, when Nigeria took a loan of $1 billion from the IMF, after Obasanjo had been convinced that Nigeria was underborrowed. By the time Obasanjo came back, that $1 billion with other loans taken by other governments after him had ballooned to over $30 billion. Now, at the time the loan was taken, the Naira was stronger than the dollar. By the time he came in, the Naira was about 16 times weaker than the dollars. Therefore, the quantum of our debt, because we keep on devaluing our currency, keeps on ballooning, so that whatever we earn locally, that we have to convert now to dollars, becomes a burden for us to be able to carry. Now, we've said it so many times that we do not have to go out borrowing, but that we should sit down and look at ourselves. Look, what are the things that we have? What monies that do we have? And then start to live within our means. Whatever we are able to generate is whatever we are supposed to spend on ourselves. And what infrastructure are we even talking about? We cannot go and take loans to build hospitals and for educational systems without getting some of the loans back in form of payment and things, so that you can service those loans. You cannot service your loans with only with your GDP, and you cannot go on increasing your taxes so that you don't overburden your people, which is what this government is doing. Since this government came in, all that it has been doing is to raise taxes. First by removing so-called subsidy on petroleum, and yet we understand they are still paying the subsidy, even though they are now paying it to themselves and to their own companies. You have increased VAT. You have increased duties. You have increased so many things. You have increased cost of electricity. You have increased everything. It's all taxing. You can't tax yourself into richness. Meanwhile, as you are taxing, you are taking more loans. Why are you taking loans? So let the government stop taking loans. And then, just one point.
Right.
I remember during Jonathan's time, these people in government now made sure that Jonathan was having difficulty taking any loans by threatening him that if he took any loans, the next government will not be bound by the terms of those loans, and therefore every lending organization outside should be careful the loans they give to Nigeria. I think we should resuscitate that thing now. That I think we also we bring it to the fore that every loan you take, you should be able to repay it within your term of office. If you are not able to repay it within the term of office, don't take that loan and don't pass the burden on to the next government.
Strong one. Okay, on top of this, IMF also warns Nigerian government against weakening CBN autonomy. I don't know why they will say they are weakening the CBN autonomy, because the CBN is, yes. So somehow I see like a parley between IMF and CBN, and off to the detriment of Nigerians. George, what do you think so? Because
when IMF is warning about this autonomy of the CBN, it is very important to understand where this all started from. Immediately, a president wants to become the petroleum minister and controls the funding that goes in and out of such. That is an issue that we are dealing with right here. Because what happened with MFLA is about to repeat itself if we are not careful. The MFLA was used by the government, and when he saw the level of corruption and the level of secrecy and level of lack of transparency that was going on, he decided to take part of become part of the corruption, and now he is the scapegoat. So what you are seeing is that the CBN is not independent, it's subject to the president, and all the decisions that are being made publicly are being fueled by the president. The extra recoloring of the money was Buhari's idea. Reprinting extra money was Buhari's idea. And when he instituted it as a CBN governor, now all of a sudden it became part and parcel of the whole entire saga that was going on. Because the CBN was not independent. They're being commanded and being controlled by the government, by the president. This is what happened with Buhari, and that's what's happening right now. And that's why IMF is saying we need to be very, very careful. We need an independent organization with the CBN, so when they're making decisions that will affect the economy of the nation, they will make it independent of whatever the president or the executives are saying, because they understand some of these factors that are bringing us into debt and bringing our inflation into the country. But when they're not independent to make any decision, the president will tell them what to do. So, and that's exactly, you don't see that in North America.
Yeah,
you don't see that much.
Yeah, that's correct, George. Raji, also, I think that there's a bill, there's something the legislators are working on that will amend the CBN Act, the CBN Act, and that could help the citizens somehow. But IMF is saying that will weaken. I don't know how they are looking at it, but they say it will weaken the CBN governance and autonomy. Raji, do you think so? Are you following the bill they are trying to put on their act, on the CBN Act?
Without even following it, I did not see any act of the current NAS that will be to the benefit of the people. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Is it frozen?
I think he's frozen. He said that and just got frozen. Anyway, George.
Maybe frozen.
Anyway, that's what's happening. George, you really put out some strong talk here, and we want to commend Amina Mohammed. She now has shown that she's really representing Africa, the people, the ordinary people, for her to look into this nitty-gritty, the essence of all of this money thing, loans and all of this thing they are doing. Because there has to be a check, George. I mean, you just taking loans, waking up, taking loans, like you said, buying private jet, buying yacht. I mean, what is this? Who does all of this?
Can you just imagine, since Buhari came into, Asiwaju came into power, can you just imagine all the money that has been wasted in this past 16 months?
Can you imagine?
If, for instance, they have used all that money to bring a village of, this alternative energy.
Okay.
A huge village that could supply power to all parts of Nigeria. Can you imagine that the money they have wasted so far unnecessarily on nothing that can bring back anything back to us could have built us a village of solar panels where they can just, like a lot of nations are doing right now. Can you imagine that? Look at what Abia State did. Why can't it be duplicated in other parts of Nigeria?
It
and
can,
we're wasting our money.
Yes, we can. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Raji. Raji, I don't know if your network is back. Thank you for coming, Raji. Thank you, George. And you, the viewers. Viewers, we also need you to make your contribution like you normally do. Say something. It's our matter. It's our lives. We only live once. No, you don't live twice, you live once. So get into affairs that concerns you, and be on the lookout for all these excesses from the governors. Raji, let's hear you say one last thing before we go. Raji?
Yes, I'll just a line of word of caution about this renewable energy thing. I do not see how much we can gain from solar energy now at the moment. Rather than invest in solar energy, let us invest on our dams and our hydroelectric facilities, and then let us invest more in the transmission lines that will bring energy to our areas. We should not waste money on solar energy. Yes.
But I don't understand why Raji will even say that.
No, don't worry.
Many nations that are using this particular thing.
It's something that we need to talk about differently.
On the whole, yes, on the whole. Raji probably has an idea of what he's saying.
I am in the field. I am in the field of this so-called renewable energy.
Also from your angle, your side, you know, if you're looking at it from Nigerian, African side, because
angle, that's it. Yes,
you need to come to the West. You need to see what they are doing with renewable.
Yes, you need to understand what is happening around the world.
Even in the US, where it is heavily subsidized, it is an edge technology. We should be careful about it.
Okay, let's call it quits today. We'll be back on Friday. Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you for coming. Viewers, God bless you. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Shenkem Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect